Hey everyone, the title of this video is called Laws of Success. Now you may have heard me mention it in a few videos. In one video I may have just mentioned Laws of Success and not really elaborate more on that. But I'm hoping in this video to get more in depth about the laws of success and how people use them. So the laws of success has started the day that Adam and Eve chose independence over God. God told them not to eat of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. So they listened to the serpent and, they saw that the fruit was good, so they took it. Independence from God then came. So man then, from that moment on, did his own thing. And then from that moment on, sin came into the world. So from that, man continued walking in his own way. It fulfills Romans chapter 2 where there's no one good. There's no one who seeks for God. Each man went to his own way. All men have become corrupt. So this is the example of the whole sin in the world and what man is living under. So from this Adamic mindset, then man himself has become successful in his toiling. And so because he has become successful, he has now become the ideal man. Now, the ideal man in his success creates financial laws for all men to follow in his path. And you may have heard these financial laws in talking with somebody. Maybe you yourself have wanted to become wealthy. So you've taken little tidbits from the ideal man or people that are on the path of becoming wealthy. So you've taken on their tips and, whatever they're telling you to do in order to become financially successful, you've done. Now, these laws are what moves man to desire wealth and obtain it in any way. They invest in stocks to get more. They save. They, save for the purpose to increase in wealth. And in order to increase in wealth, they have a good paying job that shows ambition. Now, when man achieves this, he can hold his head up in pride. But the problem is, if his head is up in pride, he can't see the needs of those around him. Why? Because his focus is on himself and on his needs, and not on anyone else's needs. He made it in his own steam and believes others can too. Now, since he has created these different financial laws for men to follow him and to become successful in themselves, that is what I call the laws of success. They have come from the ideal man to those who are poor and are not on the paths of becoming successful. So these laws of success are used to put on the shoulders of the less fortunate and the homeless. So, if they want to become successful, they have to follow these laws and get out of their current rut. Now, these laws, I'm sure I haven't listed every single one. You may have some that come to mind when I'm listing them. You may have heard it yourself. Maybe you have been pushed to be on the path of the ideal man, but you couldn't do it. So you yourself have heard from them what you need to do to become successful. So the first law is you must have a good paying job that shows ambition. Good examples of my past is when I worked as a work study. The girl that I liked told me that maybe I should go for this job because it pays more. And a lot of people are like that. They won't choose any kind of job. They want to make sure that before they get a job that it pays well. Because if it pays well, then you have the approval of those around you. Second law, you must have the best this world has to offer for the good of your family. Third law, you must never be in need and accept help. Because if you're in need, then that shows those that are on the path of becoming successful what you've done wrong. So if you are in need, then you have to take care of it by yourself without help from anybody else. The fourth law is not to help those in need when you are financially stable. The question is why? And the world throws the judgments at the less fortunate and those in need with they are lazy. If they are in need, it's because they were irresponsible and they made mistakes financially. Now, if you do help them, if you do help those that are in need, you must teach them to become responsible according to what you have learned. You must teach them to become self-sufficient. You must continue to put financial laws on them. You have been given a green flag then to criticize them if they're coming to you for help. You can charge them interest and have a time frame for repayment. The fifth law, you must save to have the money to fall back on and further boast when those around you are not like you. And a lot of people say, I have this and you don't. Ha ha. Sixth law, invest to get even more money. And if you do invest, you want to make sure that you're going to be benefited from that. Not for the purpose of helping somebody else, but so that you would be able to get even more wealth. Seventh law, you must go to work when sick to show people you are responsible. Eighth law is to criticize those that are not like the ideal man. And I recall, when I was working on my book, Who is Your Provider, I was doing exactly what God wanted me to. So a family member came and they were criticizing me and where I was at because I wasn't doing what they thought I should be doing. And that was to follow the ideal man. And so I told this family member, because, prior to me writing Who is Your Provider, I was trying to work to become successful. I was still operating under the Adamic mindset until I surrendered my will to God. Now, if you're a Christian, then you can relate to this. But if you're not a Christian, then check out my other videos too, because I elaborate more on that. And you can start with video, 00 and then move up. But I surrendered my will to God, so He's the one that leads me. So I was trying to tell this family member about what God has done, what I've learned, and they were totally resistant. They didn't hear anything I had to say. And I told this family member that I was trying to work hard. He said, well, you didn't work hard enough. And so no matter what you say to anybody of this world, and you're in need, or you don't have what the ideal man has, then you failed the standards of the ideal man. So that if you are successful like the ideal man, that's given you a green flag to criticize anyone that is not like you. Ninth law, you see someone who is poor but wants to marry. You will think in your mind that they will have it rough. That love is second and financial success is first. Love isn't important, only making money. Now, if you want to marry, you must become financially stable so that you and your family can benefit from it. 10th law, you must work overtime in order to achieve more wealth. And the purpose is to show people that you're a hard worker and to be looked at as responsible. 11th law, any other additional laws those on the path of the ideal man may say. So you may have laws that you've heard yourself from those that are financially successful, or those that have tried to move you to become such. You can just add them there. So with me stating these laws, I don't agree with them. I stated them sarcastically because, that's exactly how this world functions. And there are a lot of Christians themselves who have adopted these laws rather than compassion. And if you want a good example of God's viewpoint, there's a lot of Christians that think God stands with them in their success and in their critical standpoints. Well, the question is, have they even read Scripture? So I would say, check out my video that I created. One second, let me find out the name. And it's the video called Judging the Homeless and the Less Fortunate. And you can see God's standpoint on those that are in need. The question is, does God stand with the ideal man, or does he have compassion on the needy? So you can see that for yourself in that video. So I really don't want to say too much. I want to leave this video strictly under the laws of success. I wanted to list them so that you can see exactly what I meant when I say laws of success, so that you have something to go by. Now, I've listed the laws of success in my second book, which will hopefully be out in 2020, and it's called Undefiled Faith. And so I've mentioned the laws of success, but you're getting ahead of the game by hearing this video, so that when you do read Undefiled Faith, if you do, then you can understand where I'm coming from. So, like I said, these laws were created by the ideal man, those who are rich and what the world wants to be like. So, I'm going to end it here. Thank you for taking the time to watch, and God bless you.